we recording? Yay! Hello, boys and girls. Oh my gosh, do I ever miss you? I hope you guys are doing okay in your homes, and you're not getting too lonely, and you're not getting too you're not missing you're missing your friends too much at school. Even adults right now are having a hard time communicating with our adult friends, and so we all feel very lonely. One of the things I do when I feel lonely is I like to think about a happy memory. Usually, my happiest memories involve other people, or maybe something that I learned to do or showed others that I could do on my own, and that would help me create a happy memory. I have a lot of happy memories of times when I had my friends in abundance, which means when I could be with my friends as much as I wanted. And when I'm feeling lonely, a lot of the times I'll go to those places in my head and I'll say, oh yeah, I'll just think about for me, I like to go to the gym. So that would be a place where I'd have some happy memories. And I like to come to school, and I like to go to, other places, just like you have things and places that you like to go that bring you happiness, right? So whenever you're feeling lonely, I want you to remember we will be able to get back together soon. This won't go on forever. And in the meantime, you have your memories of all the times that we were together. You and I were together in music class, and you were together with your friends, and you got to make decisions and choices that you're not able to make right now because we're all stuck in our houses. So anyway, I want you to know how much I miss you and how much I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. So, in the meantime, there's some things that I want you to learn, and I want you to master these things for me so that when we do get back together, you can show me that you can do this. So, if you're in grades 1 through 3, this video is for you. Now, if you're a third grader, this is going to be review. If you're a first grader, this is going to seem complicated. So, my advice to you is if you've seen it before and you already know this information, still watch this whole video and see if there's any small thing in it that you didn't know, and that would be new knowledge for you. If it's hard for you to remember this material, you can watch this video as many times as you need to. Guess whose classroom I'm using, because I'm not using my own classroom. Guess whose classroom I'm using? It has a smartboard in it. This is not a smartboard, but it has a smartboard in it. If you guessed Miss Graziella's classroom, you're right. I'm using her smartboard because I'm using her whiteboard because she's not here right now. So boys and girls, this first lesson is about the treble clef. But before we can get to the treble clef, there's a few things I need to review with you. I want to make sure that you remember what the musical alphabet is, and I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this orange marker to write the musical alphabet down for you. The musical alphabet is just like the regular alphabet, only shorter. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now that's the musical alphabet going forward. Here's the musical alphabet going backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Both of these representations of the musical alphabet can go on and on as long as we want them to, but there's something very important to remember. After G, the musical alphabet starts over. A, B, C, D, E. And I'm going to put dot, 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 which means keeps going. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. G, F, E, D, C, B, dot, dot, dot. That means it keeps going forever and ever, as long as I want it to go. So the top example is the musical alphabet going up or forward. In music, those two words mean usually the same thing, up or forward in the musical alphabet. And the second example is the musical alphabet going down or backwards. Up and forward, down or backwards. And boys and girls, maybe the best way to think about this is on a set of stairs. If you were at Hilltop 3 years ago, do you remember when we went outside and we walked up and down the staircase in front of the gym and we practiced saying our musical alphabet? Do you remember that? If not, it's because you're in first grade or second grade now. But I'll show you how that works. And this is something you can do at home, and it's pretty cool, and it'll help you remember. So I'm going to draw some stairs. Remember, I'm not Miss Anna Claire, so my drawings are pretty awful. Here's the stairs. All right. Hey, you might even have stairs like this in your house somewhere. As long as you have at least 7, you can play this game at your house. Here's step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, step number 5, step number 6. I need one more, don't I? And step number 7. So right here at this edge, right here, I'm going to put an E. Right here at this step, I'm going to put a G. Now you're probably saying, whoa, you didn't go in order, you skipped. Just hold on to that because that is true. I did skip. E, G, B. Okay, there's a pattern going on. Have you seen it yet? E, G, B, D. Does that fit the pattern? Does that fit what you thought the pattern was? What would be next? Did you say that? Okay, let's check. E, G, B, D, F. What comes next in that pattern? Let's check. E, G, B, D, F. So now we need to find another F. Here's another F. A. Okay, so by now you know a light bulb went off and you know exactly what I'm doing, right? Okay. This one's E, G, B, D, F, A, C. And in between in these stairs, there's also a place where I can put another note, and that's the missing note. In between E and G is F. In between G and B is A. In between B and D is C. In between F and A is, in between D and F is E. I just made a big boo-boo. I'll go over that again in a second. In between F and A is G. In between A and C is B. Now I want to show you something about music. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put one more down here. D. Okay, so now we have 2 different patterns going on that are parallel. And if you say them in one gesture, it makes the alphabet. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And you could go on and on and on. Now the reason why I wrote these on a staircase like that is, let me get my eraser. The reason why I wrote these on a staircase is because I can turn the steps of the staircase into lines. Okay, so these 5 lines are the same as these lines. Okay? Right now, boys and girls, all you have to do is watch this. You don't have to draw it or anything. You're just watching me to see what I'm doing, see if you can figure this out. So here we have, instead of our stairs, we now have this. So let's get rid of this, and let's get rid of that, and let's start over with a brand spanking new 5 lines like that. Okay, so now I have 5 lines. And I'm going to connect the 5 lines on the left side with a bar. And I'm going to put a treble clef. You know, there's an easy way to draw a treble clef. You make a relaxed S. I know it doesn't look much like an S. It's a very, very relaxed S. I'd call it super lazy. And then come down, cross the middle line, make a big fat ball right there, circle, bring this one down, and draw a stem. So there's my treble clef. Now, do you remember the staircase? Do you remember the first note that I wrote in the staircase? It was an E. And then I skipped, didn't I? I skipped. Oh, that's backwards. Be careful of this one. That's backwards. Be careful. That's backwards. Okay, here's our E and our G. I skipped the F. I skipped the A. I skipped the C. And I'm going to add one more note. And I skipped the E. Well, look at that. We have 5 lines, and their names are E, G, B, D, F. Well, there's an easy way to remember that, and it's this. Every good boy does fine. So if you can remember the sentence, every good boy does fine, you can remember the 5 lines of the treble clef. Every good boy does fine. E, F, G, B, D. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Now, how does that help us? That means if the basketball or circle, or however you want to think about it, is on the line, completely and solidly on the line, no question about it, that's on the line, right? That's the E. This one, no question about it, it's on the line, right? It's on the line, so it's a G. And again, no question about it, it's on the line. And the reason why I'm saying no question about it is that on the line? That's in the space. That's in the space between the 2 lines. So I want to get rid of that guy. I'm going to get rid of him. He's going to be confusing and in our way. I'm going to put one right on the line. Boom, 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 boom. Right on the line, right? And then here's one more. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is the name of this note on the line? Well, it's an E. What's the name of this note on the line? Well, it's a G. What's the name of this note? It's a B. What's the name of this note? It's a D. What's the name of this note? So what's the point to all this? Well, there's a very important point to all that, and I'll give you a good example. You know the song, this world, my mind holds this world, my mind holds this world. If I wanted to tell Mr. Max or Miss April or Miss Cindy or anybody else in the school about that song, and they wanted to learn it and sing it on their own, they would need to know what the notes are. And I wouldn't be able to tell them what the notes were if somebody hadn't invented this system a long, long time ago. So this system helps us write down songs, and that's why we think it's so very important. And that's why I want you to learn it, because it helps us to write down songs. So here's the lines of the treble clef. Let's stop for just a second and use our hand. So we're going to use our hand for just a second. I like my right hand. You may like your left hand. It doesn't matter to me which one you use. But will you get your hand out for me and stretch the fingers open like this? Here's my 5 lines of the treble clef. Can you show me that? Now my hand's not this way on because that's more comfortable for me to keep it here like this. So maybe it's more comfortable for you too. So maybe you can keep your hand like this too. Here's the top line, and the bottom line, and the middle line. And so these lines are every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Boys and girls, it's very important that you start at the bottom. And that's why I originally drew a staircase for you, to remind you to start at the bottom and go up. Okay? So you start at the bottom and go up. Every good boy does fine. Now, the last thing that we need to learn is the spaces. So the spaces, and I'm going to get that blue marker. Remember, blue is my favorite color. So I'm going to use this one. Here's a space. I'm going to put one of the balls in there. Here's a space. I'm going to put one here. Here's a space. And here's a space. Now, just so that you don't get confused, these arrows are pointing only to the blue, And these notes are F, A, C, E. The first space is F, the next space is A, this space is C, and the top space is E. What does F-A-C-E spell? So now you have two things that we have to remember to know how to do the treble clef. Every good boy does fine, and F-A-C-E. Every good boy does fine, and F-A-C-E. Fine rhymes with line, face rhymes with space. Fine rhymes with line, face rhymes with space. Let's think about that again. If it's a line, every good boy does fine. If it's a space, face. If it's a line, every good boy does fine. If it's a space, face. So say this. Line rhymes with fine, space rhymes with face. Line rhymes with fine, space rhymes with face. Line rhymes with fine, space rhymes with face. Line, fine, space, face. Line, fine, space, face. You say it for me. Okay. Line rhymes with, space rhymes with, okay. Line rhymes with, space rhymes with, okay. So if it's a line, boom, 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 that cues your mind, every good boy does fine. If it's a space, space rhymes with face. So that tells you it's F-A-C-E. I'm going to erase this, but don't forget you can rewind this video and watch this again if you want to. I'm going to erase this for right now because all I want you to remember is this. Line, space. Okay. Line, fine, space, face. You say it for me. Line, fine, space, face. Line, fine, space, space. Now stay with me for a second. Stay with me. This isn't hard. I know you can learn this. This isn't hard. Is this a line or a space? It's a line. Is this a line or a space? Okay. Is this a line or a space? Okay. Is this a line or a space? Is this a line or a space? All right. What is this? A space. What is this? A space. What is this? A space. What is this? Okay, now here's your quiz. You tell me out loud if it's a line or a space. Are you ready? Yeah, right, it's a line. That's easy. What about this one? Okay. All right, let's keep going. Okay, what about this one? What about this one? Yeah, what about this one? Okay. Now, I want you to say line or space when I point to the note. Okay? Say line or space when I point to the note. I'll show you that one again. Okay? Say line or space when I point to the note. Okay? One more. Say line or space when I point to the note. Okay, did you get those all right? Let's check from the bottom up. Space, line, space, line, space, line. Now that seemed easy, right? Now we're going to name those same notes. And this is a little bit harder. But remember, line rhymes with fine, space rhymes with face. Line rhymes with fine, space rhymes with face. So when I point to the note, the first thing you should think about in your head is that a line or a space? Don't skip that step. Did you hear me? Don't skip that step. When I point to it, the first thing you say is in your head, is this a line or a space? And then we go from there and figure it out, okay? Are you ready? So the first one we're going to do is this bottommost note right here. So if I said, what is the name of this note? It's inside the first space It's inside the first space. What's the name of this note right here? Okay? Inside your head, you're saying, is it a line or a space? Well, it's a space. Space rhymes with face. How do you spell face? What's the first letter? Okay. Congratulations, you knew it was an F. Face is spelled with an F. F-A-C-E. Let's do the next one. Is this a line or a space? It's a line. Careful, because it's not the first line, is it? It's the second line. This is the second line. What do we know about the lines? Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Every good. Let me show you that one more time. Here's the every line. Here's the good line. Here's the boy line. Here's the does line. Here's the fine line. Every good boy does fine. F-A-C-E. Now let's finish all the rest of these. Will you pretend like this is not written there? And will you pretend that this is not written there? Okay? Only look over there if you have to. When I point to the note, see how fast, how quickly you can come up with the note. Are you ready? The first thing in your head is it a line or a space? If it's a line, every good boy does fine. If it's a space, F-A-C-E, because space rhymes with face. Are you ready? What is this note? Okay, it's in the second space. Space rhymes with face, F-A. If you said A, you are right. What is this note? Okay, it's a line, isn't it? Line rhymes with fine. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Let me do that again slowly. Every good boy does, so that's a D. Okay, what about this note? First thing you say is that a line or a space? It's a space. It's a space. Space rhymes with face. So F-A-C-E. It is an E. Yay. One more. Let's look at this one. Is it a line or a space? It's a line. Line rhymes with fine. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Okay, so that's an F. Let's do some exercises. Let's do some more examples. I'm going to get rid of everything except for the good old musical alphabet up there, and I'm going to cut it back down to its normal size, which is 7 letters. There are 7 notes in the musical alphabet. So I cut that right back down. I know I erased it. I'm going to put it back up right now. Okay. Let's put our 5 lines. I'm going to switch colors here. Let's put our 5 lines up. Put our 5 lines up. Just like a staircase, we need to start at the bottom. You have to remember that we always start at the bottom, just like the staircase. You remember the staircase? We always start at the bottom. Here's our 5 lines. Okay? Now, when I put a note on the line, I want you to say the following things. Is it a line or a space? And then I want you to take a guess at the name of the note. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Is it a line or a space? What is the name of the line? Every good boy does fine. Every starts with E. Awesome. There's our E. I hope you can see that. I hope you can see that letter E in there. Okay, you ready for another one? Okay. picked a hard one. I picked a hard one. And I'll tell you why after you guess it. Your first question is it a line or a space? Okay, what's the name of that line or space? Okay, if you said E, man, now wait about, what is going on here? How can that be an E and how can that be an E? Well, I'll tell you how they can both be E's. Because on the piano, there are 7 E's. On the piano, there are 7 E's. Let me say that one more time. On the piano, there are 7 E's. That means we need 7 places to put E's so that if I write a song, I can tell you how the song goes. I have to be able to notate all of the different E's. So this is the best way to do it. And some of you are already thinking, well, if there's 2 E's, then maybe there's 2 D's, maybe there's 2 F's, maybe there's 2 C's, maybe there's 2 B's, maybe there's 2 A's. Well, you're partially right if you were thinking like that. And there's even a shortcut. I bet you some of you will figure it out on your own, so I'll save that for a little bit later. Let me put another note up, and you tell me if it's a line or a space. This is one of my favorite notes. I love this note. What is that note? Is it a line or a space? Correct. What's the name of it? Line rhymes with fine, so every good boy does fine. Let's count carefully. Every good boy. Did you say it was a B? Did you say that? Okay. So we have 3 line notes up. Let's do some space notes. This is my favorite space note, I think. I think that's my favorite space note, at least for right now. That space note is, well, we better figure it out from the bottom up. F, A, C. Because space rhymes with face. Space rhymes with face. Line rhymes with fine. So what about this one? Is that a space or a line? Is that a space or a line? Line rhymes with fine. Every good boy does fine. Okay. Let's do one more. There's a very, very popular line note right there. Everybody loves this note. What's the name of that note? That's G. It's a line. Line rhymes with fine. Every good boy does fine. Now the final thing I want to do in this lesson is erase this one more time and draw it very, very big in case there's anybody who hasn't figured this out yet. I'm going to draw it very big so that you can be sure to see. And I'm going to put this down one more time. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Here are my lines. Very, very big. Very big this time. Just like a staircase, you start at the bottom. Just like a staircase, you start at the bottom. This is the E line. This is the G line. This is the B line. This is the D line. And this is the F line. So I'm getting pretty hungry, so we're going to end this lesson pretty soon as we do the spaces. And I'm going to use, you know what? This is for my friend Hayes in the middle school, because he's an Auburn fan. So I'm using blue and orange, even though he knows that I don't like the colors blue and orange myself. I'm doing this for Hayes. I'm going to fill in the spaces now. So here is the first space. Here is the second space. I'm going to pop over here for the third space and the fourth space. Now all we need to do is fill in the names of these notes. The line notes are blue, and the line notes are every good boy does fine. The space notes of this example are orange, and they are F, A, C, E. So let's fill those in. We're still going to say, is it a line or a space, because that's very, very important. Line or a space? It's a line. E. Come on, there it is. All right. Second line, G. Okay, third line, B. Fourth line, D. Fifth line, F. Let's do our spaces. And boy, I'm getting really hungry. I'm actually thinking about Area 41. Like, I would really like a hamburger right now from Area 41. Doesn't that sound delicious? For me, at least, I enjoy hamburgers. Okay, so here's our spaces: F, A, C, E. Boys and girls, the final thing I want you to do is check your work and make sure that it's correct. And this is how you do it. The musical alphabet goes in order. And let's extend it just a couple notes just to make sure that we have enough. I'm going to go backwards a little because a G comes before, and then an F, and then an E. That just gives us, that takes care of that end. And then that takes care of the top end. So that's all we need to do. Let's check it. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and the G note, you may have guessed, the G note goes on top. But that's actually the start of another lesson that we don't really need to know right now. But at least right now you can see where every one of these notes fits on the treble clef. And just so we all know it's a treble clef, let's put the treble clef in there. Boy, that one's terrible looking. All right. Boys and girls, watch this video as many times as you need to until you have mastery. And to check yourself at home, get a piece of paper, draw the 5 lines on it, draw a treble clef, take a quarter or something round and wooden, like maybe the lid off of a sippy cup or something, and move that lid around on the lines and the spaces until you know them. Do not forget, line rhymes with fine, space rhymes with face. Line rhymes with fine, space rhymes with face. And the reason we're saying line rhymes with fine, it reminds us every good boy does fine. And the reason we're saying space rhymes with face is it reminds us F-A-C-E. Okay, so boys and girls, tonight I want you to try extra hard to be very nice to your brothers and sisters and your mommy and dad, because remember, mommies and daddies get stressed, and what stress means is that our bodies and our minds hurt a little bit, especially when we're worried. And 9 times out of 10, we are worrying about you. We are worried that you're maybe sad or not feeling good in situations like this. So to help mommy and daddy's stress, be extra nice tonight. And it will also help if you're extra nice to your brothers and sisters, especially since we all have to be together. And we have to be together for a little bit longer. We don't know yet how long we have to be together. But hopefully there's still some time at the end of the year, because I want you to show me this skill next time we get together. So work on this skill, work on this lesson as many times as you need to until you have it mastered. Will you do that for me? Okay, this is our first lesson. There'll be a new lesson every week, before you do the lesson for next week, you have to be sure that you know this lesson. So will you do it for me? Okay. I hope so. Thank you for watching, boys and girls. Bye-bye.